Hi guys, this is Calculus Family. In this lesson, I'll be taking you through tangents, normal and binomial vectors of vector functions. In our previous lessons, we've gone through what vector functions are, how to graph them, and also how to find the derivatives. We found how to find the integrals, and also we did other stuff on vector functions. So we continue in this lesson on tangents and also normal and binomial. So you remember that a vector function is simply a vector valued function, right? So we call it a vector valued function. In modern 3D design, in modern, um, let's say, trying to analyze any figure spatial domain, right? We make use of vector functions a lot. Okay, we make use of vector functions. So let's say, given a vector function r of t, which has been graphed as this line or curve here. Okay, sorry, as this curve here. You have what we call the tangent vector, which is t of t. The tangent vector, what it does is it gives us an idea of how our function is changing at a certain point. When I find my tangent vector here, what is trying to tell me that this point is changing at this direction or at this direction. So always tangent vector is a vector which is in parallel to the direction of our curve. So it gives us an idea of where the curve is gradually moving to. Okay, so that is tangent vector. It's simply the derivative. Remember, derivative is change of y over change of x. So it gives an idea of how your function is changing with respect to the y and also the x domain. Okay, that is very, very important for you to understand. But there's one thing you should know. Whenever you find a tangent vector, it gives an idea of how much and where it is changing. For you to absolutely define the moving direction, we need what you call unit tangent vector. So let's first define the tangent vector. Your tangent vector here of t is simply equal to the derivative of our vector valued function. So r prime of t gives us the tangent vector. Okay. Now, I said we need the unit tangent vector. So for the unit tangent vector, we simply have to find the absolute, right, of, let me do it this way. So for unit tangent vector, we're simply going to have the absolute of what? Our tangent vector. And that is given as r prime of t over the length of r or magnitude of r prime of t. So the idea is that when you find a unit tangent vector, it is simply going to nullify the magnitude. We are interested in the direction of change of a particle moving along a curve. That is what you are trying to see. Okay. Then we have another component called normal vector. So a normal vector gives the direction of a curve, but its description is different. You realize that a normal vector at this point is perpendicular. So at any point, we analyze the perpendicular direction of any force to that point. Okay. Whilst tangent is in the same direction with the curve and how it is changing, the normal vector is in perpendicular, or it is an angle of 90 to the direction at which our point is changing. So it also gives an idea of a direction. That is it. Okay, it gives an idea of what a direction. Okay, so how much is the changing? So the object is actually moving. Then this is also giving a direction of object. So it's just a direction of direction, and the direction grows. So this is a basic direction you can get, and it moves to a higher direction. Okay. So this is acting as if a changing object, or if an object is moving along it, then this will give another direction of this moving object. But this is actually giving the first direction of where the object is. Then we come to, so let's find n of t. So the normal vector of t is giving us the derivative of our tangent vector. Derivative of our tangent vector of t. If you find the derivative of the tangent vector, we get normal vector. And as I said, we don't need the magnitude of change. We always want the absolute direction. Because of that, we find the unit normal vector. And that is the point of interest, okay? And that is going to give us the tangent vector over the absolute of the tangent vector. Ah. So once you have this is your unit tangent normal vector, and that is what you will need. Okay, then we find what you call a binormal vector. The binormal vector gives spatial direction. It's very important. So for normal binormal vector, it's a cross product. Our binormal vector is simply the cross product of our unit tangent vector and our unit normal vector. Okay, find the cross product of our unit tangent vector, the normal vector, what you call the binormal vector. The binormal vector gives an idea of how a moving object completely 3D, maybe a surface is moving, maybe it is twisting in space. Okay, so it gives a trajectory of how the twisting is done, which you know that tangent vector cannot give us the full idea. Tangent vector is only giving us the micro part which it is taking, where normal vector is also giving us how it is changing along its axis or at that point and along a curve, let me say it that way. But the binomial vector is giving us complete 3D or spatial change which can be observed in 3D modeling and robotics and all that. For you to see things in space, right, is also important. Now let's solve a problem here for you to appreciate these formulas. It says that find the normal and binormal vector for this, right? To find the normal and binormal vector for the function r of t given as comma 3 sine comma 3. So this one, you just have to get the formula right, also the concept right. So first of all, you need what? The normal vector according to the question. We need binormal vector according to the question. We don't know. But remember that normal vector, what do we need? We need our tangent vector to find the normal. Therefore, we find the tangent vector first, which is giving us what? The derivative of our vector. Okay, so that's going to give us derivative of t is 1, derivative of 3 sine 3 cos t, derivative of 3 cos t is negative sine t. Once you have this, the next thing to do is what? Find your unit tangent vector that describes the direction and what we need in particular. So this is going to be r prime of t over the length of r prime of t. So we only have to find the length, right? The length of r prime is going to be given square root of the expression. We're going to have 1 squared, right? Plus 3 cos 4 squared plus negative 3 sine 4 squared, right? So this is going to give us something like square root of 1. This will be 1 plus 9 cos squared t plus 9 sine squared t. Remember that cos squared t plus sine squared t is always what? 1. Therefore, we get this place to be what? To be 9. Okay, so our answer will be what? Square root of 10. Therefore, simply our tangent vector is going to give us 1 over square root of 10 multiplying 1 comma 3 cos t comma negative 3 sine t, right? But once you are done with this, you can still further break it so that you get your simple vector. So 1 over root 10 comma 3 over root 10 cos t comma negative 3 over root 10 sine t. So this is our tangent vector. Now we come to the main problem. It says that we should find a normal vector. So to find a normal vector, which you know, which is simply the derivative of our what? Unit tangent vector, right? We're simply going to have this. We are going to, I mean, try to differentiate this. Okay, so we are going to, when you differentiate your unit tangent vector, you get the normal vector. So let's differentiate this that we have here. Okay, it's very important. So to find a normal vector here, then my derivative is going to be what? My derivative is going to be 0. 1 over root 10 will give me 0. This will give me negative 3 over root 10 sine t. And this will give me negative 3 over 10 cos t sine c. So once I have my normal vector, then I proceed towards my binormal vector. I remember that my binormal vector needs my what? Unit normal vector. It's not enough getting the magnitude. We don't need the magnitude. We need only the direction. So what's the direction of the normal vector? We find the normal vector, unit normal vector, where we are going to get the unit tangent vector over its length or absolute or modulus, any of them like to use. Good. So therefore, this demands that we find the unit tangent vector. I'm sorry, the length of what um the unit tangent vector, right? So what are you going to get that? So the length of the unit tangent vector now of t is going to give us square root. I'll have 0 squared plus negative 3 over root 10 all squared sine t. Sorry, sine t, everything is inside. But negative 2 over root 10 all squared plus negative 3 over root cos t all squared. So this will further give us expression. This 0, it's gone. This will give us 3 out of 10, right? So it will be when you square it, you are going to get 9 out of 10, rather 9 out of 10. Okay, we have 9 out of 10 sine squared t plus 9 out of 10 cosine squared t. Okay, so this is simply going to give us square root, because sine squared and cos squared will give us what? Will give us 1. When you factorize 9 out of 10 out, so you simply get square root of 9 out of what? 10, which is simply going to give us 3 over root 10, or you can say that 3 root 10 over 10, right? 3 root 10 over 10. So therefore, what is our normal vector? Unit normal vector. So our unit normal vector is simply equal to, here we are dividing what you had here over the, so we are going to get 0 comma negative 3 over root 10 sine t comma negative 3 over root 10 cos t divided by what? So all this over what? 3 over root 10. So to what? Invert. So you get root 10 over 3 multiplying the expression 0 comma negative 3 over root 10 sine t comma negative 3 over root 10 cos t. Right. Good. So once you have this, you have to simplify it, then you get the basic form. Okay. Simplify it and you get the basic form. So you can clearly see that there will be cancellation beautifully, right, at this point. So our unit normal vector simply be equal to, for the first one, it will be 0. It will still be 0. 0. Then for the second one, my return will cancel, my have negative. The one I multiply by the third one, 3 works, so I'll get also negative. I say negative 1. I didn't add the cosine part. So negative 1, but sine t is already here, right? So let me say negative sine t. Then this will also multiply cos t. So once you have this, we have our normal unit normal vector, we have our unit tangent vector. We are simply to find a binormal vector. So binormal vector, as I mentioned earlier, is simply the cross product of our unit tangent vector, right, cross our unit normal vector. So we can put them. So it's a cross product, and you know how to compute cross product, right? From vectors, find cross product, you simply introduce your I, J, K as your direction numbers. Okay, then you add your respective components. So for the first start, we have the tangents occupying the first row. And what the tangent vector, as we got, that was the unit tangent vector was what? 1 over root 10, right? That's how we have here, right? So 1 over root 10 to, so I'll have this 1 out of root 10, right? I'll have 3 over root cos t, and I'll have negative 3 over root sine t. Then for my second row will be what? My unit normal vector, right? So I'm going to have 0, negative sine t, negative cosine t. Good. So once I have this, then you simply apply the determinant approach, right? So I'll introduce my I, and my I what? Open brackets. Remember, this is plus minus plus when you're doing matrices. So with plus minus plus, this will go. I'll nullify all this. Have my 2 by 2. So I'll have 3 over root 10 cosine t times negative cosine t, right? Because it's cross, right? Cross. You are crossing it times negative cosine t minus negative sine t multiplying negative 3 over root 10 sine t, right? Good. That is for the I part. Then for the j part, you realize that you have negative j because you're already by conversion. So to also nullify this row and this whole column and that column, right? We are going to have an expression of 1 over square root of 10 multiplying negative cos t, right? Minus the expression 0 times what this 0 times over root sine t. Then we finally have plus k, right? Plus k. So k2 will nullify this. Have my 2. I also have 1 over root 10 multiplying negative sine t minus 0 times 3 over root 10. Obviously, no all the ones with zeros are going, right? So this expression will give us the first expression, the I part. This will give me negative 4 squared t, right? So 3 over, so I open bracket 3 over root 10 negative cosine squared t plus, so okay, this and this will give us plus, so minus 3 over root 10, right? Negative, okay, wait, this and this will be positive when I subtract to be minus, right? So I'll be sine squared t. Is that not it? Good. Then you close. Then my j, this will be 0 to go away. So I'll have this minus and this minus plus j, open brackets, 1 over root 10 cosine t. My k2, this will be 0. So I'll have plus k, open brackets, negative sine t over root 10. Good. So this is a binormal vector. Okay, this is a binormal vector. As simple as that, right? So is there any further simplification we can do to this? I have my negative cos squared. I have this. So let me factorize negative 3 over root 10 out. I'll have my cos squared t plus sine squared t, right? Plus my j cos t over root 10. Then minus k sine t over root 10. Right? So this is 1. Okay, so you can obviously see that my binomial vector will give me negative 3 over root 10 as my first component. Then my j will have what? Cos t over root 10. And I'll have negative sine t over root 10. And this is how you find normal vectors, binomial vectors, tangent vectors. And I hope the application and explanation was helpful. Please do subscribe if this is the first time in this channel. And don't forget to share this video.